A new report just came out, a new study that I believe it was 87 or 88% of all. Now, this involved asking teenagers, right, from 13 to I guess 19, basically middle school to high school age kids, and they did it in different parts of the country, which is what I looked into because at first, well, let me tell you this. 87 or 88% of teenagers that were asked um, have an iPhone or plan on getting an iPhone as their next device or their first device, which is kind of, it's surprising, not shocking. I knew it was up there, but I didn't think it was basically almost 9 out of 10 kids. Now, they did this poll included kids from different parts of the country. This was not all, because that's again what I first wondered was, well, did they just go to a school and ask a bunch of kids? No, apparently this was a more in-depth study. Kids were asked in different age ranges, in different parts of the country, in the South, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and I think Midwest, I believe as well. So it varies by region, but the general census is that iPhone is the more popular device in America, and that's not surprising. We all knew that, right? Now, one of the the two main reasons, because they asked him, what phone do you have now, and if you don't have a phone or your next phone, what do you plan on getting? And like I said, 88, I believe, percent said iPhone. Now, the second question was why? And the two main reasons that the teenagers basically explained why was one was FaceTime, and two was iMessage. So basically, and look, Apple knows it. Apple does their own internal studies. Apple does their own. Samsung does their own internal studies. When you're running a billion-dollar company, you have money for R&D, research and development. Different departments, advertising, sales department, legal, all sorts of different stuff. Well, this is one of them. I think they call market research or something, where they actually have a team that conducts their own internal studies. So Samsung knows this, Google knows this, nothing knows this. It's nothing new. But it is interesting whenever these studies do come out to just kind of reflect on and see why it's headed that way. It's good news for Apple, but these companies need to know these numbers because they can plan their marketing, whether you're iPhone, whether you're Apple or Samsung or Google or nothing. Um, you can plan your marketing around these numbers. Now, let's look at the study real quick. And as you can tell, I have a picture of some teenage girls taking a selfie with an iPhone. Pretty interesting. Okay. Just kind of funny, whatever. Let's see. Let's go to right here. So the title says stupid ads. And I'll link this in the description so you can go check out this as well. Android isn't cool with teenagers, and that's a big problem. I mean, we all knew that. It's not, like I said, it's not shocking. Nearly 9 out of 10 U.S. teenagers use an iPhone. Spelling disaster for Google's mobile future. Look, they are gaining ground. I think in as far as Google and Pixel, they were the only, and I say only, Google was the only cell phone manufacturer that actually increased their market share in the year of 2023. The only out of Apple, Samsung. Now, a large part of that is due to their A series devices, which we have coming up. Don't go anywhere. But look, Google is on the right path, right? They have a nice, classic, sleek, unique. That's very important to be unique design. And So they're on the right path. They have the right formula. It's kind of like a football team, right? Once you get your quarterback, that's the most important piece of the puzzle. Once you get a quarterback, that's the foundation. That's the what you can build around. Well, having a appealing, unique, nice, elegant looking device, in my opinion, is the foundation. Once you nail that, then you can move forward with marketing and trying to sway some of these people's opinions or wants as far as their next cell phone. But let's get into the study. Um, it says Apple finally managed to overtake September, surpassing 50% market share for the first time. Now, this is in US, correct? Um, yes, in the US. Android has held top mobile OS spot for years. Okay, so Apple just passed 50% of the US market in almost a little over a year ago. Let's see. Yeah, with teenagers, it's interesting because they get pressured, right? Um, they get pressured from the friends, from their social groups. If you don't, it's the stupid green bubble thing, it's the stupid messaging thing. Now, nothing looks to change that, and we'll get into that here shortly. But yeah, 88%. So look, I'm not really surprised. I kind of knew it was like that. It's just interesting. We will have to see. Now, this is not, this is going to take years to develop and play out and to see what happens. It's definitely not an overnight change, but it is possible. I'm not going to say Google can claim 50% of the US market. I don't think that's possible, right? But I think they can chip away at the market share that Apple has. I think if they get good branding and or depending how they market these Pixel devices, I think they can gain some ground, although it's a little bit, right? Same thing with Samsung. Look what they're doing. We just reviewed the new S24 series. Looks pretty close to an iPhone. Now, that's not the reason why these teenagers said that they are sticking with Apple, right? They didn't say anything about design. They were saying iMessage and FaceTime. So, since that, and Apple knows this, and that's why they do not want to give up any ground when it comes to iMessage and FaceTime. And if it's not for nothing, if it's not for these apps like Sunbird that come in and can kind of bridge the gap, that is going to be imperative. Now, I hope Apple does not sue nothing. I hope Apple does not take legal action against Sunbird. I mean, technically, I was looking into the details. It doesn't look like they're breaking any laws. Like, they're technically, and we'll go through how Nothing is setting up this iMessage deal on their Nothing Phone 2 in a minute. But that's bridging the gap, right? You bridge, you put a bridge over that. Now, FaceTime, I don't think is obviously it's not supported on the Nothing Phone or any other Android phone. But there's Google Chat, right? There's Google Duo, or what is it, Duo now? Yeah, their video chat. So like there are video chats that people can use. It's just Apple has had this number one spot for years, and here's proof right here. So this means when teenagers are my age, right? 40. That's a long time, right? So these teenagers are getting in on Apple and Apple plans. Once they get a customer, they want to lock you in, right? With the apps, an app store, with the cloud storage, with Apple Music. They want to lock you in the ecosystem. They want that teenager that gets their first iPhone to get a MacBook when they go to college, right? And then they're stuck, basically. It is a pain in the ass to switch from iOS to Android, or even if you have a, let's say somebody like me, right? I got all Android devices in Windows. I have a Windows computer, but let's say my next computer, I wanted to get a MacBook and still keep my Android devices, right? They don't play. They're like they don't play nicely. Like file sharing, cloud storage. Now you can get Google Cloud Drive on MacBook, but you know what I mean, right? Like in Apple intends it to be that way because they want to lock you into their products. So unless they can, this is the key market, is are the younger crowd, teenagers, right? They know they'll get a few adults, but teenagers is where they lock you in. And it's imperative that Google, Samsung, and definitely nothing makes cool, appealing, nice devices, right? This is innovating. This is groundbreaking. And that's something like nothing would appeal to teenagers, right? Um, Pixel's a very nice design. Maybe too boring though for teenagers, but I think a nothing phone. I think if I was a teenager, oh God, I would be all. I am now, and I'm 40. I'm all over this phone. I would love to have this phone if I was a teenager. The nothing phone. It is cool as hell. So that's the key market because as a teenager, you still have technically, if shit, 40, 50 years of buying products. So they know that's a key market in Samsung, Google, and nothing are going to have to market and penetrate that sector of the users.